Just when you think it can't get worse, the Miami Dolphins find a way to make it worse as they get blown out by the Cleveland Browns 31-6, and Tua Tagovailoa gets benched. Yes, that's right. Quinn Ewers came in and saw his first NFL regular season action. It's bad in Miami, that's for sure. We got a lot to talk about, man. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Let's get into this.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it!
You have got to be kidding me.
Jaylen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score!
Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown again.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan.
Let's go!
I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, let's start off here with this. Dolphins obviously lose 31-6. And I mean, listen, I was saying this a bit at the end of the stream. I get it. All right. Fernando Mendoza, I get everything. Dante Moore, right? I've been hyping these kids up. Ty Simpson's rising. I get it. The draft pick, I get it all. But at some point, Stephen Ross, when are you going to show some balls and some pride? I mean, let's be real here. You went out on a limb. Tyreek quit on you, and you immediately went to bat for the current regime. You didn't even wait 2 hours. You immediately went to bat for them. And then what? And then what? How did they respond to that? By starting the season getting blown off by the Colts. By now 1-6, finding multiple ways to lose close games, and now getting blown out by the Cleveland Browns. And now Tua Tagovailoa is playing the worst football of his career. That's the thing, too. Tua Tagovailoa looks like he's regressed this year. Tua Tagovailoa is playing the worst football of his career. I don't know what he's doing right now. The last 2 games have been dreadful from Tua Tagovailoa. Been dreadful. I mean, we're seeing some of the worst quarterback play. Right now, Tua over the last 2 games is 33 of 55 for 305 yards, a touchdown and 6 interceptions, and a 41.7 passer rating. This is bad. It doesn't get any worse than this right now. Tua is making bad. I mean, that throw when we were down 24-6, that interception inside the 10 off his back foot because he's feeling pressure, just throw it away, man. He did have guys open, but the pressure was just bearing down on him. Get rid of the ball, man. And Mike McDaniel. I mean, what are we doing here? Right? What are we doing here with Mike McDaniel? It's only just going to continue. This team is finding new ways to lose and new ways to make it pathetic. Like, the Dolphins are an utter mess right now. Mike McDaniel is on his way to being an offensive coordinator somewhere. Everyone's given up right now. I'll go further. The offensive line looks like they're checked out. The defense looks like they're checked out. Tua looked like he's checked out. Like, yeah, whatever. He don't care. And Mike McDaniel looks like someone who's lost. Whether you want to discuss as a play caller or just in general. As a play caller, Achane averaging over 11 yards per carry to start the second half, and you decide to throw to him in the flats on the first play. Achane averaging 11.4 yards per carry, but let's start the second half off with a pass in the flats to him, which is too high, can't get his hands on. Well, he does get his hands on, but can't get his hands down to corral. Ball pops up, it's intercepted. Then, okay, so he looks lost as a play caller and with the game flow. Then they keep cutting to him when the wheels are falling off, everything's off the rails, and they keep flipping to Mike McDaniel looking at his play call sheet like he's going to find some magic answer in there. And to no one's surprise, Mike McDaniel found 0 answers in the play call sheet. This guy's totally lost. This team, coming out of the first half, had more penalties than first downs in the first half. Like, what a disaster. D. Eskridge ends up becoming your leading receiver because of that bomb at the end of the game, which Jonas Avayanaya made a great block on the run for Achane early on that led to 46-yard gain, but he got beat on that deep throw to Eskridge for 40 yards. He got beat bad. Like, the Dolphins were the number 1 third down offense heading into this game. Okay? Sorry, number 3. Sorry, they were number 1 a couple weeks ago. Now they're number 3. They're converting at a 46.5% clip. Today, they were 1 for 13. The Dolphins lost this game 31-6, but outgained the Browns 219 yards to 206. Think about that one for a second. The Dolphins had 11 penalties for 103 yards. They had more penalty yards than Tua Tagovailoa had passing yards. Think about that a second. The Dolphins, okay, had more penalty yards, 103, than Tua had passing yards. He had 100. That is sad. On both sides. That is so bad. Like, my Lord. Sorry, I don't want John Gruden. John Gruden's on the top of my list. Guys that built a winner in 20 plus years. Y'all forget what happened? Take the scandals away. Y'all forget what happened in Las Vegas? Oh. And, I mean, where are we getting to now? You know, before the rails, things are falling off the rails. You got Tua yelling at the sideline to get plays in, you know, with 20 seconds ticking away on the play clock because the plays aren't getting in. Just a mess. Just a mess all the way around. Panthers are on a winning streak since they beat you. "2023 was our year, man. Blew it against the Titans, and then you doubled down and blew it against Buffalo. And here we are. And now we've reached a crossroads where 2023 was your chance. We're into 2025, and it's clear it's not getting any better, and it's time to blow it up." That's where we're at right now. One and 6. I mean, how is this team looking worse than the 2019 tank team? I just... And it's going to continue to be the fan base that suffers because Ross ain't going to do anything. Ross ain't going to do anything. And we're going to talk about that in 1 second here. But Ross definitely isn't going to do anything. We already know what time it is. And we're gonna talk about that in a sec. We're gonna get into how nothing's gonna change. I'm not expecting anything to change. Before we do, shout out to the sponsor of today's video. That, of course, is Sleeper. If you think you know football, then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other daily fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code PHINSIDE, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Right now, Sleeper, as you can see, free $20. You don't even have to deposit. Just go sign up, use my promo code, and go claim that free $20 entry without a deposit. Go make some money today, okay? So let's get into this. I want to talk about this before we get into the game and recap. Why nothing's going to change. You ready? This is why nothing's going to change. I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, but the report came out from Jordan Reed that Dolphins GM Chris Grier and multiple representatives from the team were in attendance at the Oklahoma-South Carolina game. The 2 obvious prospects were quarterbacks John Mateer and Lenoris Sellers, amongst other prospects, obviously on both sides of the team that are going to be eligible in the draft. So Chris Grier is out here mid-season going on scouting trips. Now listen, I'm a fan of John Mateer. I've said I think that's the moxie we need, but I've heard my Patreon, I had a recent Patreon update just a few days ago. Go check it out. Had info on Waddle, had info on Achan, and more. And regarding trade rumors, which has actually all turned out to be true so far. But anyways, I digress. John Mateer is apparently the wild card. Lenore Sellers expected to come out. Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. John Mateer is the wild card not to come out. Lenore Sellers, here's my thing with Lenore's. If no change is happening, what's the point? They won't be able to develop that kid. That kid's going to get ruined in Miami. They don't know how to... we can't develop a guy like... that guy needs at least 2 years on the bench. Needs at least 2 years on the bench. And we think we're going to give it to him? They're going to force him into the situation. And that ain't going to go well. Lenore's needs to sit. If you're drafting a quarterback with this regime, you need like the most pro-ready guy, and that would be Fernando Mendoza. This is why I'm saying I think Francis Moigoa or Spencer Fano might be the better call to build the trenches out and finish building the trenches. I like Taylon Green, but I don't trust this team to develop Taylon Green. That's just where I'm at. I think Taylon Green's going to blow up the combine and get on a lot of radars. A lot of radars. But, let's be real here. All right? Who's going to develop him? That's what this is going to come down to. That's the problem. Who are you going to trust to develop these guys? Especially if I'm sitting here watching this guy, Chris Grier, go on scouting trips still. Just unbelievable. Very impressive how bad this franchise, this team is bad, and they're ran bad. Terrible team, ran terribly. And Chris Grier, we got to sit here. This guy's going to be here for another year. If we fired Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel, I would want Darrell Bevell to take over. You can't give it to Anthony Weaver after what his defense has shown. Frank Smith has done nothing. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even let these guys back onto the plane to Cleveland. I would be telling them to walk. It's just... it's sad, man. It's sad because we all know nothing's going to happen. And the fans are going to continue to suffer because no one has balls in this organization. This team is undisciplined. This team can't execute worth a damn. Everything that could be wrong with a team is wrong with the Miami Dolphins. Point blank, period. And none of it's getting better. None of it. It ain't getting better anytime soon. So everyone talking about the whole Jaylen Waddle trade. If you didn't have a chance to see the excerpt out of Barry Jackson's article, I did want to show that too as well to you guys. This is what he said. Though Jaylen Waddle and Devon Achane have been the subjects of trade rumors on social media, any speculation about Miami looking to trade either is unfounded at this time. A leaked source said the Giants reportedly would have interest in Waddle if the Dolphins change their mind and consider dealing him. So anything you're hearing about a potential Waddle or Achane trade, like I've told my Patreons and channel members, it's not happening. All right. I know you've got Giants fans out here trying to gaslight everyone into thinking it's happening, but it's not happening. Jaylen Waddle is on too team-friendly of a contract, which hasn't even really kicked in yet. Devon Achane's their best player. I mean, the only guys who got off the bus today were who? Devon Achane and Kenneth Grant. And it's going to take more than a first-round pick to get Jaylen Waddle. Remember, they said they wouldn't have taken 2 first-round picks for Tyreek. Waddle's on more of a friendly deal. Waddle will not be traded. At least not by this regime. So, nothing happening. Nothing expected to happen. The players that I expect to be dealt are guys like Bradley Chubb. You know, I think there's a chance if the right offer comes for Jalen Phillips. I think if the right offer comes for Jalen Wright, that is a possibility too. But Waddle and Achane are pretty much next to untouchable along with Patrick Paul. So I wouldn't hold my breath if I were you hoping that. You know, you got to start getting assets. You know, you got to start getting assets. That's where we're at right now. The Jets lost today. So that's basically who you're fighting with for the first spot. The Tennessee Titans lost today. We basically want us to finish with the first overall pick or a team like the Titans. So, because if the Jets get that first overall pick, I don't think we're going to have a shot at Mendoza. Now, I have heard some things, but I don't know if I fully believe them. So, Tua, he was at the podium. He said the decision to be benched was McDaniel's decision. He said he's obviously not happy with his play and that he's got to be a lot better, blah, 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 blah. You know, I mean, it is what it is. We're just running in circles right now. I mean, what did we expect here? All right. I think Tua's checked out too a little bit. I think Tua, you know, I know he apologized to everyone for the backlash he caught for his comments, but I think Tua's not happy with the backlash he caught. I think Tua has not been happy with how the fan base has treated him and the media has treated him, and I don't think he's happy with the situation with Mike McDaniel. I think Tua's checked out too. So, you know, I mean, I didn't think this would be this bad where this team can, it's going to be a struggle to win 3 or 4 games for this team. Like, and Tua Tagovailoa, man, listen, I defended him over the comments he made. I didn't think he needed to apologize. I think he was, you know, whatever, you called out bad teammates, that's fine. But I ain't defending this. And I ain't defending the play over the last 2 games. Just like I didn't defend him buckling when it mattered most in the second and third game of the season against the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Tua, the wheels have fallen off. Like, the wheels are falling off for Tua. Just like the wheels have fallen off for McDaniel and Grier, they're falling off for Tua in Miami. And it is what it is at this point. And the fact that Mike McDaniel was even allowed to get to the podium, my God. I'll never get it. Now, here's the question now. Is Quinn Ewers the starter moving forward? McDaniel at the podium said today that if you are routinely hurting the team, then he has no choice but to assess another player. I wouldn't hold my breath that next week's going to start with Quinn Ewers taking snaps under center. I just wouldn't hold my breath. We haven't seen changes up until this point. Why are we going to see some major of a change? And you know why? Because they'll say it would be a distraction. So I don't expect anything to happen, to be quite honest with you. I just don't see it. I just don't see them making that big of a change. I don't see them. If they were this butthurt and soft over him calling out teammates because of the distraction it created. What a throw by Dark for a touchdown. Because of the distraction, 44-yard touchdown. Because of the distraction it created, do you think they're going to create this distraction by going to Ewers? I don't see it happening. I just do not see them benching Tua. Where, let's be honest here. Let's have a real conversation. If the goal is the number one pick, you might as well. But they're not going to bench him because no one has balls or makes big moves in that building. He's under contract for next year. Blah, 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 blah. And I don't expect them to bench him at all. But, hey, if you're going for that number one pick, if you want Mendoza, if you want more, whoever the apple of your eye is, roll with Quinn Ewers the rest of the year. See what you got. You're keeping Mike McDaniel in charge. So if you're going to keep the same upper management and coaching staff in charge, the way to get your pick, set the team up to fail with Quinn Ewers. You're already halfway there. Half the team's checked out. Yeah, just horrible all around. Did you see that game? I had to sit there for 3 hours and watch that trash. Everyone was bad. The only people that were good today were Devon Achane and Kenneth Grant. Everyone else, go home. But to me, if your name ain't Achane or your name ain't Kenneth Grant, I got no use for you today. You weren't good enough. And it's October and I'm about to start doing mock drafts on the channel. Very impressive. And I'm going to say this now. I'm saying it. All right? I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to say this. All right? Let's go back to the man that's in the title of this video. Ross is an enabler. Ross is an accomplice in all of this. Ray Charles could see after week 1 where this was heading. I was screaming to the mountains when we were 2-6 to fix all this and get rid of everyone last year. You decided to double down. You decided to give them another chance. We got blown out 33-8 by the Colts, and I was doubling down saying, dude, make the changes now. At least that'll give yourself a chance to maybe an interim head coach can, send a message and get some energy in that building and you can change this around. It's still early. Ross didn't do anything. Dum 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 dum. I talked about this, right? Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? When he's looking at an embarrassment and loss, that's what Ross is saying. Please, sir, can I have some more? It was right in front of you. They embarrassed you. They made you look like an idiot after week 1. And you, all that you continue to put out into the media, the narrative you continue to put out is that you're going to continue to be patient. Why? What is there to be patient about, dude? How many times do I keep saying this? Did this guy make a deal with the devil or the Grim Reaper? Did he find the fountain of youth? I mean, this man's in his 80s. And he's got more patience than Job. What's there to be patient for? So we can all sit back in there and go, well, instead of 25 years since a playoff win, it's 26. So what? Be patient so we can all look back and say, oh, another year wasted. And then you're sending Chris Grier out on scouting. You're letting Chris Grier go out on scouting trips. For what? You don't want this guy making the decisions. That tells you one of two things. Either he's safe as general manager next year, or they're just going to shift him to a new position. Like, I would be telling Marvin Allen, hey, buddy, you're overseeing the trades. It's time to ship some bodies out. Work closely with Grier. I don't want him making a move unless I approve it. Like, that's literally where I'd be at right now. But instead, nah, business as usual, Chris. After what I just saw today, you guys who have watched me a long time, you know me enough now. Do you really think I would have let Mike get in front of that podium today? Like, seriously. Why? For what? Is that another show of your patience, Steven? Like, and that's a sad thing. Let's say you get the first overall pick. Does Ross really think Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel will be able to get it right? Even if they get the most pro-ready guy in Fernando Mendoza, at this point, it's probably safe to say they'll find a way to mess that up. I wouldn't let him near a Lenore Sellers or a Taylor Green or someone who needs development from the pocket, because they're going to ruin them instantly, and that'll be a waste of a pick. Stephen Ross is an enabler, and he's turned into an accomplice. He has had multiple chances and multiple red flags to move on this season, and he hasn't. He's ignored them. How no one is fired is beyond me. Do you think they are tanking quietly, but unlike Flores, Mike is a good soldier and they haven't told anyone, they want to blame Tua and clean hands. I've had this conversation privately recently. Me and EM Dolphin fan have had this conversation multiple times privately. I'm not even lying with you. We've had this conversation. Is there an agreement in place that, hey, let's tank this out? Just because of what you said, Mike would fall in line. Because why would Mike fall in line? That would be his chance to get his own guy and not have to work on a reclamation project in Tua Tagovailoa. Which I've already said, right? I've said this. Mike McDaniel, whether you want him or not, he has an argument. He can walk into Stephen Ross's office and say, listen, you asked me to come here and fix Tua. I got him to the Pro Bowl. He led the league in passing. But I peaked with him, man. I can't do anymore. I did what you wanted me to do. Give me the chance to get my own guy who's not ruined by a previous coaching staff, who I can build from the ground up. I've said this. Do I agree with him? No, I'd be firing Mike McDaniel. But if you objectively step back, he's got a legitimate argument there. And there's quarterbacks coming out this year, right? Obviously Moore, Mendoza, Simpson, Sellers, Mateer, Sawyer Robinson, Taylor Green. Next year, my two guys in next year's class is not even Arch. It's Julian Sain out of Ohio State and Sam Levitt out of Arizona State. We've talked about the 2028 class and how special that could be. Jaron Kawhi Sungapatele from Cal. Bryce Underwood from Michigan. Malik Washington looks like a stud from Maryland. CJ Carr from Notre Dame. Bear Backmeyer from BYU. It's not over. I mean, I've said it. Moe Goa or Fano, I'd be over the moon this year. I wanted Membo. Reports are Chris Grier wanted a DC in that hiring cycle. Mike McD was forced on him. Can't remember the DC he really wanted. Who do you want as head coach? If I could have anyone, I would trade for Harbaugh from Baltimore. You know? I would trade for Harbaugh. And yeah, he'd probably be at the top of my list. Stefanski's not going to get fired, I don't think, so that's fine. Do we want a first-time head coach? Because if it's a first-time head coach, then Chris Shula, Jesse Minter, and Joe Brady would probably be, at the top there. So, I don't know. We'll see. Dolphins have not been 1-6 since 2004. 21 years. Think about that. Oh boy. Does it get any worse than that? My God. But patience, guys. Patience. And now you kind of got Tua and McDaniel throwing each other under the bus in the press conference. Tua talking about how he can't multitask the game like years prior, citing the operations in the game. Trying to talk about how he's getting players lined up in time and work with them in the locker room. I mean, he's throwing the coaching under the bus. He's throwing it under the bus. Now, he did say it starts with him and he can't turn the ball over, but Tua's throwing the coaching under the bus. And then you could see Mike McDaniel kind of snapping back, right? Nothing else to do, man. I mean, nothing else to say really either. And apparently in CBS's post-game coverage, Kim Bokamper said he saw the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross and Tom Garfinkel walking down the hallway not looking happy. But nothing will change, so what does that matter? What does it matter if they're not going to change anything? Right? Why not Doug Peterson for experienced head coach? I mean, I'm down. At this point, I'm down. But here's the other problem you got to remember too, right? No coach has won a Super Bowl with two different teams. No head coach has been the head coach of two different Super Bowl teams. So, got to keep that. I mean, he won with the Eagles, right? And change is coming. And it's going to be coming in the offseason, though. That's the thing. And I don't know how much change is coming. So, could it be McDaniel and Grier running it back with a new quarterback? Maybe. Should it be? No. If Tua's gone, McDaniel and Grier should be gone. To be fair, what do you want Tua to say? He's taking responsibility, but you can't ignore the fact that McD still can't get a play call in on time. Yep, there was one point today where Tua Tagovailoa, with under 20 seconds left, was yelling towards the sideline to get the play call in. Because the play call wasn't coming in time. So, you know, I just... Man, I don't care that Mateer's 6'1". Baker Mayfield's 6'1". And I want Baker Mayfield. And I've wanted him the whole time. I'm hoping, Chris, that the Blue Jays do come through for me tonight and not add to my misery. They should have finished that last game. I mean, John Snyder lost that. Bad coaching lost that game for the Blue Jays. So, I just want to win. Find me the guy that's going to get there. Find me the coach that's going to get there. Topher, that's why I wanted Jackson Dart. I told all of y'all about Jackson Dart all last year, all last season, since August. Telling you I see the same thing in Mateer in terms of that moxie, that swag. But, you know, Mateer might go back because of the Heisman. And let's be honest, no quarterback is saving this. No quarterback is saving us from this situation. It's bad. It's bad. You know, I don't even know if a firefighter is going to put out this fire. It's bad in Miami and it ain't getting any worse. And Ross continues to allow it to happen. Anyways. Guys, do me the favor. Smash the like button. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to this. I mean, at least subscribe to me, not to the Dolphins nonsense. Right? I mean, geez. I mean, the Dolphins continue to lose like this and nothing happens. It's going to be the same thing, and Bijan Robinson's going to have a day against us. Who's ready? Guys, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm out. I got nothing left to say. This team's a disaster. Ross, how do you not fire anyone after all of this? Someone please tell me how this guy is not firing anyone. Please, someone, anyone, tell me how there's not being a move made. I don't get it. I never will. Complacency is the worst enemy for this team. The owner's complacent, the coach is complacent, and it ain't getting any better. I'll see you on the next one. Fins up, baby.